We were booked on the Brilliance of the Seas for a trip to the Great Barrier Reef that left on the 8th of December 2023. However, that's not where we went. Watch to see why we didn't make it and where we ended up instead.
Hi, it's Trish from A Kiwi Australian Travels, bringing you travel videos from Australia, New Zealand, the South Pacific and around the world.
I love the seasonal theming on royal ships. After boarding, we headed up to the Windjammer to grab some lunch and were greeted by a wonderful Christmas display, a perfect start to a wonderful cruise. Brilliance is a smaller ship without the bells and whistles of the Flow Rider, On Explorer, or the Seaflex, iFly and North Star that you will find on Quantum-class ships such as Ovation. But it makes up for it with a smaller, friendly atmosphere and some truly lovely decor, such as the subcontinent-inspired trappings in the adults-only pool area and extended decor in the schooner bar. Sail away from Sydney Harbour is always lovely, with the Opera House showing its magnificence as we passed by. I've lived in Australia since my late 20s, but the furthest north I've travelled is to Brisbane, so I was very excited to book a cruise to the Great Barrier Reef in North Queensland. Fate was to intervene, however, in the form of Jasper, which made landfall as a Category 2 cyclone in Wujal, Queensland. Royal Caribbean very wisely decided that cruising towards a cyclone was a very bad idea. So we ended up heading south instead, visiting Eden, Adelaide, Melbourne and Hobart. Jasper disrupted more than one voyage though. As we cruised out of Sydney Harbour towards the Heads, we passed the Quantum of the Seas, which had headed down from Brisbane to avoid the cyclone. It's not very often that you'll see two royal ships in Sydney Harbour at the same time.
Our first port of call was Eden on the far south coast of New South Wales. It's a picturesque town nestled on the shores of Twofold Bay. One of the town's main attractions is the Eden Killer Whale Museum, home of Old Tom, the skeleton of the last orca that used to help humans hunt baleen whales. Entry to the museum as of December 2024 is adults $15, children ages 5 to 15 $5, and children under. The township is just up a hill, not far from the port. You can book a bus via shore excursions. It was $9.95 US return. Now it is possible to walk from the port to the township, but it is a fairly steep incline. As you can see, there are also some local markets to entice cruisers. Our next stop was Adelaide, actually, Port Adelaide. In keeping with the maritime theme so far, we visited the South Australian Maritime Museum. There was a full-sized ketch, the Active 2. You can go into every part of the ship, including the captain's cabin, and even climb down into the hold, which was a lot of fun. There was quite a bit more to see in that museum. I just don't have photos or videos of it. All too soon, it was onwards towards Melbourne. You can see from the towel animals that we had an inside cabin. Alas, we didn't do a cabin tour this time around, although we were very happy with our cabin. No videos from Melbourne either, I'm afraid. We did go ashore, taking the tram to Queen Victoria Market. We spent most of the day there and picked up some Christmas presents for family. You can see us pulling away from the port in these photos. Next stop, Hobart. We overnighted here. I spent the first day looking around the city centre trying to find Christmas presents. On the second day we took in 2 attractions. Firstly, the Maritime Museum of Tasmania. Wow, I bet you're not surprised with that one. You may even be able to spot a theme here. The captain's cabin displayed here is a definite step up from the one in the ketch that we saw in Port Adelaide. Once we'd had a really good look around the museum, we went for a longish walk up the hill to the Army Museum of Tasmania. We had to actually call when we arrived to get an escort to show us around. Exhibits included swords and bayonets, the World War I command bunker, shown here, an exhibit for each of the First and Second World Wars and the Vietnam War. Women in service was covered, and there was even a military jail cell with the history of one British soldier who was repeatedly incarcerated for drunkenness. All in all, this was an unexpected gem, particularly for my husband, who has a particular interest in military history. All too soon we were sailing out of Hobart, led down the Derwent River by a pilot vessel. We loved the Brilliance so much that we booked another cruise on her later in the season. All did not go according to plan, however, for our March 2024 sailing. We will be posting another video in the course of the next few weeks so that you can find out what happened on that cruise. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe to A Kiwi Australian Travels.